Okay, Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War. Union campaign, very hard, very high. Okay, what do we got going on here? Well, first things first, I did a little bit of stuff off camera, not much. I had a number of brigades that have been recruited because I decided to go to a slightly larger corps size, talked about that. Those have been farmed out to the various corps. Went through and kind of scrubbed the weapons and all the forces. Found a couple of reboard muskets here and there. So I think that's all pretty much fixed up. We had picked up a number of additional good cav weapons. Got some Spencer carbines out there. Got some Spencer repeating rifles. Got some Henry rifles. And also another brigade's worth of the Sharps rifles that have been added to one of the rifle corps. In the east, not much has changed. Hancock's still building this fort down here at Petersburg. Hook has arrived at his position in the Shenandoah. He's building a little fort here. I'm just kind of pre-staging the final coup where we come in here, attack this army, or pair of armies, and they will, the closest IAP is going to be Stanton. My idea is battle here at Charlottesville. He retreats across the Blue Ridge because this is where he's trying to go. Then Hooker comes down, and he will. These armies will not be in a morale and condition to fight, I think, and they will simply continue retreating. And then we will just press forward with either 1st or 6th and take Lynchburg, which is the last city in Virginia. But I'm just kind of setting up for that now. In the meantime, I've given orders for the Army of the Atlantic, the 8th Corps, to go seaborne, and they're going to come around here like so and besiege Fort Macon and then capture Morehead City. It says Morehead Port. The name of that place is Morehead City in North Carolina. At least today it is. The port itself isn't necessarily that important in terms of trade. However, this is all just road network in here. The railroad runs over here. That remains under Confederate control. When I later moved the Army of the Atlantic just down the coast to besiege, there's 2 forts here. When we go to take Wilmington. For supply reasons, I think it would be good for Morehead City to be Union controlled and have a port nearby. We're not going to have supplies coming in via rail route. First Engineers on their telegraph building project in the Upper Tennessee Valley. Grant's army is still trying to rectify their supply situation here. That they've just taken Decatur and come across the Tennessee River. The flow is okay now. They just haven't recovered their stocks, and so they're still showing attrition, and they need to come back up a little bit. I have moved 2nd Engineering Corps down, kind of put him out forward a little bit. He is at, I believe this is Columbus, Mississippi, and he just now got there. And what I'm going to have him doing is building a supply depot. Basically building another logistics forward base here. If I can get the telegraph, there we go. And so this is intended to support Grant's further move south toward Tuscaloosa and Montgomery. So 2nd Engineers, they're kind of out there in front for now. I don't think there's any enormous Confederate armies in the area. 7,500 here. And then Army of Georgia is way over here at 3,100. There could be something unlocated. But what I've done is I'm not going to move the Army of the Mississippi over in this direction, but I did kind of move them just far enough over where they can support this engineering corps if a Confederate force does materialize. And at least for the time being, I have folded 2nd Engineering Corps up underneath the Corps Command of Steedman. So at the moment, 2nd Engineering Corps is part of the Army of the Mississippi. Had another little had forces for another little Riveron squadron. Riveron 9 is now moving further down the Mississippi to right here at Vicksburg, where the Mississippi and I think this is the Yazoo come together. Yet more eyes there, and we do have actual sight on this. That isn't a question mark anymore. Army of Mississippi. Let's see, what else is worth mentioning? We finished a batch of 8 steam frigates in our naval yards, and I've just kind of piecemealed those out to the various blockade squadrons that had not yet reached full 100% on their blockading tasks. Once those ships arrive, it'll take a little while. I think we're going to have every major Confederate seaport blocked at either 100% or extremely close to it. The River Monitor battle squadron up here is just about finished repairing at Cairo, Illinois. They're all above 90%. Just this one Cottonclad is still got just a couple more days to get up to where it rejoins the fleet. And then, if I remember to do so, my intent is to bring these monitors all the way down the Mississippi and just keep going down the Mississippi until it meets a Confederate naval force. That might be at Baton Rouge, that might be at New Orleans. An interesting thing, and we saw this in a previous Union campaign. I've remarked before about how he's actually continuing to drop men. Confederacy now down to 79,000 in uniform. So we've seen this drop almost 10,000 men in total since the last battle. So that is all through attrition or maybe even disbanding some units. It's possible. Not from battle casualties. Meanwhile, though, naval tonnage has gone up over 100,000. With no sign of those ships anywhere that we've seen. Now, most of this could be under construction. I believe this number includes stuff building. And ironclads take a long time to build. So maybe he has started construction on a bunch of ships and simply hasn't finished them yet. But I did see something similar in my last Union campaign, and that was on mediocre. It's possible that the AI as CSA maybe needs a look at, maybe it overbuilds Navy. And maybe that's costing more money and materials than might be really good for the Confederacy. Anyway, I think that brings us up to date. McClellan captured Knoxville, came down, captured Chattanooga in the last episode, And he's pretty much recovered his supply situation. I don't see any reason for McClellan not to just continue on down this route to Atlanta. Let's bring the Army HQ up this far and get 4th Corps. Let's just tell them to move right on into Atlanta. Polk should be here. So we got this going on, and pretty soon we should, if these guys will ever actually get moving from Norfolk, pretty soon we should be besieging Fort Macon as well. Let's get the clock rolling. I tried to use waypoints to route these forces kind of around this fort here at Cape Hatteras. Okay, there we go. We've got, well, this is interesting. McClellan's HQ unit is going to be fighting Polk, who we knew was in the area, with the actual Corps in this army still 32 hours away. I suspect when we get into the battle, the Corps will be there. I can't imagine it's going to have me running the HQ unit around the battlefield by itself for a day. I guess we're about to find out. Battle of Cassville. I think it's becoming pretty clear. We're kind of getting to a point where any one of these tactical battles, if it's even plural, any one of these tactical battles coming up might be the last one of this campaign. Confederacy is kind of on the ropes. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, well, my guys are advancing. They're big, but it's still giving us a defensive situation. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, what about forces? Oh, this isn't actually the... Yeah, okay. We've got our whole Corps. So there's a lesson learned. You can get your faster Army HQ unit to run out ahead to engage something, and even though a Corps may be well behind it and it shows as reinforcements, at least one Corps will be there for the battle. Okay, where is our objective? Mud Creek, back here. Where are the Confederate entry points? There's one down here in the southeast. And that looks like the only one. So we can be pretty confident that Polk's command is in his deployment zone will be something like this. So we can be pretty confident that Polk's force is going to spawn in somewhere around here, just south of Marietta. I don't remember ever fighting in Georgia before. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've seen this map. And we will go from there. Okay, so I'm going to put a cut in, deploy the forces, and I'll be back. Okay, so what I've done here is set up a defensive position over here at the objective, just on the far side of it. The idea is, okay, you can have the objective, but you're going to have to, fight to get it. So giving them the objective, and giving them the creek too, right in front, initially provides a little bit of cover for our skirmishers that are hopping around right now because time has paused. But they'll fold in here along this creek. They'll have some decent cover for the initial skirmishing. And then when they fall back, if they want to come up on our positions, creeks hurt movement pretty badly. So Main position is right along here. Built a little breastwork. Didn't have too many points. That's McCall's 3 Brigade division. I had kind of thought that all of my new brigades would have gotten to their corps by now. I guess Heinzmann's 4th Corps didn't get their extra 2 brigades yet. That's all right. But Cox's division over here on the right, I'm not a super big fan of this position, but there's a hill here. And, you know, these guys would have been completely blocked if I had set up along a line here near the guns. And then McClellan is on the left, where he can either come around here and, you know, you can kind of wheel our flank over toward the right. Or he's in a position to cover this road, if that's the way that Polk decides to come instead. 3 arty battalions kind of right here, left a gap here for them to fire through. I don't know if I don't think this is actually a great arty position. I mean, down here at this view, it looks all right, you know. But then you but the ground here is gray all the way through, and you scroll out to map view, and it's counted as forest. So I may have just like set them up looking into a big green wall there. That may not be any good. And then 3 other battalions are detached and kind of interspersed here and there with the infantry. Cavalry are way out past the flanks on both sides, and they're going to kind of move way around the flanks like this and like this, just to make sure that Polk's army is coming the way that we expect him to. And if he doesn't, hopefully spot him early enough that we can make some changes over here with our infantry dispositions. Right, that's the plan. And I hadn't noticed earlier before the cut, Kennesaw Mountain. So this is basically the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain map outside Marietta, Georgia. Okay, I'll be back whenever some Rebs are spotted and it looks like something's going to be happening. Okay. Polk's army did indeed come up this road into Marietta and turn left, and they are currently moving toward the objective. What's not clear is this is the most direct route here through the Ballinger Place, but they could make a right here, cross this creek over by Pigeon Hill, and come in on our left. So Greg's Cav, I'm kind of shadowing along this route, and hopefully get some vision on this intersection, maybe, and we can see which way the Rebs come. I think they're going to come this way via Ballinger. Then I've also moved the other Cav under Williams kind of over into this position here. So that's how the battle is shaping up during initial maneuver. Well, we've lost sight of them all now, all this forest. Hope from this... Okay. Yeah, we should be okay. Anyway, that's how it's going for now. The rebels did indeed take the left fork at this intersection. Cav continued to shadow there, get some vision along in here. The first rebel brigade has now come up and caught sight of our position, stopped and deployed into line. So Polk will deploy along in here at some point, as his brigades come up. And we have Cav over here on the right flank as well. So far, so good. It is pretty late in the day, but it is also July, which means that daylight and therefore fighting hours will continue till 2100, 9 o'clock. So there's still plenty of time for some fighting today as opposed to day 2. Okay, well, it's just about 2000. There's only an hour left before nightfall and deployment. As expected, Polk's army is just kind of coming up. Haven't really done much. There's a little bit of desultory and ineffective artillery going on. I think this one skirmisher unit have taken some losses from artillery bombardment. Other than that, not really doing anything, except for this little brigade, about 600 guys under Fulkerson, I think is what I saw there. The Tennessee State Militia, they're moving toward our right and just about to engage with our skirms along this creek bed. Doesn't seem too smart, but okay. Already wavering, already tired. I mean, he came right down this little sliver so he's been trudging through forest the whole way. Also, as I expected, though, yeah, this is not a great artillery position. This guy's getting some shots, and he is firing on that force. Is this guy getting any? No. And Ferry's battalion started nervous for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, no doubt because of his fighting spirit being capped at some low number. I just don't know why that is. Okay, skirmishers are now engaging. The Tennessee State Militia coming in. And that's the Corps level command. That is Polk himself right there. Let me turn that gunfire volume down a little bit. Stand these skirmishers up. I'm going to rotate their facing enough to get into this. Oh, this battery's opening up now. In just the right edge of Duvall's brigade. Just right here. They're getting... Okay. Off he goes. Kind of got Cav camped out in positions where later on they should be in a nice position to start blocking retreat routes. This Cav on the right has Sharps carbines, and on the left, okay, both of these brigades have Sharps carbines. Meanwhile, over on our left, I just told McClellan and his guys to build some breastworks. I don't think they're really going to need them. I think when the attack comes, it's going to come this way. But, built them some XP. Gordon's brigade is well more than halfway to opening his perk slot. Rosecrans about the same, so... That's the main reason I did that. I guess I could have done that with Howard's brigade too, but that was like a little awkward spot in there to try to squeeze in a breastwork, so I just left that alone. And I think we're going to go into day 2 without much else happening. And then tomorrow he's just, tomorrow morning he's just going to have to do something. I don't feel any compelling reason to shift my position at all. to the point where I may not even put a cut in. Because I don't think I need to. Well, I don't know. I'm not real happy with the configuration of our. I wasn't when I set it up, and I'm still not happy with the configuration of the right flank. So I may fiddle with that a little bit. That won't take long, though. I can do that on camera, I think. And if you don't want to watch that, you can fast forward past it. Speaking of fast forward, I know I have a style. And for YouTube in general, it's fairly deliberate, fairly leisurely. I talk at a certain speed. I come out with thoughts, and I think I want to mention this for 10 seconds, and it winds up taking me like 5 minutes to say it. I've been trying to tighten up on that, but, I am who I am. And some people, and I've gotten comments, a lot of people like the pace, like the style. But I will say, on the YouTube playback, on playback speed, there we go. On playback speed, my voice and my manner of speaking do pretty well up through about 150% without sounding weird. You got to go higher than that before I start sounding all chipmunky. So that may help a few viewers who may want to kind of go through my lengthy videos a little bit faster. Anyway, okay, in today, it's not going to tell us how he's redeploying. Got some resupply. I don't think we needed any resupply. There was hardly any shooting. Yeah, I'm gonna... The issue with this little spot right here is you can only put breastworks so close to a creek, or it just won't let you. I don't want them on the creek because, frankly, creek cover sucks for a brigade. I think it's a pretty good cover bonus for skirms. I like setting up positions like this where the skirms are right along a creek. I don't want Howard's brigade along a creek. So let's just see. But I don't want him back here where he finds it very difficult to support Duval. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this battery across the creek. Well, here's another idea. Should I dare put the battery up here? He does have cav to support. Or if that makes his entire army turn around and go mob the artillery and the cav, that's going to be an issue. Don't want to do. I don't think I want to do that. If I put him more over this way, you're just going to have forest. Yeah, I'm just going to put him right across the creek, and he won't have good LOS, but I'm making room for Howard there a little bit better. And at least Ferry will be there for some canister firing along the flank. If it looks a little too crazy, the cav can come up right in here. I don't want to get them in the woods now. If I don't have to, I'd rather have them stay on this road and have some open ground over this way. And with that, just move these skirmishers out of the way a little bit. So... Okay, he's not going to have... I'm not going to be able to build breastworks over that creek. I'm gonna have him positioned like this. I used the shift key so he wouldn't snap into the creek. It's losing cover, but I think this is a better field to fire to support Duval. And then let's put his skirmishers up about like so. Yeah. Maybe about like that. I think that's a little better. Flank's still hanging out a little bit, but it's semi-anchored in these woods. And we do have Cav back here if needed. I'm kind of hoping. And the way that he's... Anyway. Enough jabbering about that. Let's start day 2, 0500. July is the longest month. Sunrise at 0500, sunset at 2100. 15 hours of daylight. As opposed to the winter months, which are more like 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, about 9 hours. December, January, and February. Right, time rolling. He may have redeployed. Nope, he stayed right where he was too. Great. What you gonna do now, Polk? I've got the objective. It's your move, buddy. We can sit here all day and I get a minor victory and you're going to have to retreat. Even if we don't lose any more men. Both sides took a little bit of attrition casualties there. About 300-ish apiece. Mine's a little bit more. I think that's only because I've got the bigger army. Which I do have the significantly bigger army. I could just like mow everybody forward. We'd win. But, you know. It's just kind of ineffectually shelling the lane down skirms who are in creek cover. It's not going to get you anywhere. Leonidas. You're going to have to think of something else. So these guys built their breastworks, and they're in them. They have a cover bonus. But they're in them kind of funky. They build them and then they man them, and they don't man them exactly centered up, and so they've always got an edge sticking out. And like right now, for 2nd Brigade, okay, so he's got the full cover bonus, which is 30% for breastworks. I don't know if that's a binary, just automatically applies to the whole brigade, or if it's sophisticated enough where these guys hanging out the edge don't get that. I don't know. Either way, I got nothing else for him to do at the moment, so why don't you just kind of just come back here a little bit. Gordon, same thing. Looks like Fulkerson did recover morale, still wavering, but he's still on the field. Let's see if I move this artillery just right up to the edge of the woods. See if he gets some line of sight. Maybe he can do some counter battery. You know, I said, yeah, I don't feel like moving my position. I probably should have tried to do something with this artillery position. Didn't think of that. I don't want to move him up onto this creek line. I certainly don't want to move him over the creek line. So I think I'm just going to have to live with it. Is there a good position for this battalion over here? Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing with him. That's far enough. Just, yeah, let's limber Wilder up and go put him right about here. I know this is fascinating battle gameplay, tweaking brigades into their breastworks properly. Where's Rosecrans skirmish? Oh, they're back there. Okay. Alright, well, it may be a while before Johnny Reb decides he's got more forces coming up. Those aren't I don't think they're reinforcements. There were no reinforcing armies. Guess we can double check that. Yeah, just Polk's command. How many divisions does he have? 4 divisions. Strength report. 1 division consists of cav, and then 3 divisions of infantry. And he's got his artillery in the infantry divisions, 1 of which appears to be proper artillery, and 2 which are either horse artillery or extremely understrength regular artillery. Pillow's probably got 2 or 3 brigades. Three brigades. 1 is very small. Stewart has 2 brigades. And Maury has 2 brigades. So total of really 6. That Tennessee State Militia is really just kind of a regiment, really. But counting that one, 7 brigades, of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of which 6 are currently visible. Okay. So there's probably another brigade coming up with Zollicoffer in the same division. And so the AI is going to bring them up and kind of deploy them somewhere before he does much. So I'm probably going to cut here and then come back whenever they decide to start their advance. Which, who knows when that'll be. That may be this afternoon. Maybe tomorrow. All right. Okay. So I looked. So Zollicoffer and Dunavant, and this turns out this is Pillow's division. They are coming up. They are forming on the Confederate left, almost at right angles to Cox's division. And we've got a little bit more skirmisher fire going on now. And so I think the battle is probably going to start soon. the battle in earnest, you know, combat, real combat. It's kind of tempting to, you know, they're lined up in such a way that Cox maybe can just push forward straight into a flank attack. However, you know, it's pretty open in here. It's uphill. He's got to cross a creek. So his fatigue and cohesion is just going to be garbage. I'm not going to do that. At least, not yet. We'll see how things unfold. Do have this battalion over here. Nervous. It's taking a little bit of losses. I think that's overnight attrition. I am going to go ahead and bring the cav down because the battalion will get a cavalry nearby morale buff from doing that. So I am going to dismount 7th Cav. Put them in loose order. Go ahead and move the division commander, Williams, forward a little bit. Pre-stage him while these guys are assuming their loose order formation. No movement yet in the red line. Okay, looks like they're done. Let's move 7th Cav down to that'll make the artillery a little bit happier there. And they mount up to do that shit. Look. Why can't you guys just walk forward? Good thing I went through all that rigmarole of dismounting and putting in loose order. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of push these skirms up a little bit just to mess with Zolokoffer's flank. They've got to go quite a ways. Okay, that'll work. Okay, now we've got those skirms where we can flank fire on them. Can't quite tell what that party is shooting at, but he's shooting at something. That's good. This battalion, at least, has got shots at something. So does B-Bat, and so does A-Bat. Great. Well, those skirms got driven back there. It's alright. We'll just put some more out. Okay, we've got brigades moving back here now. Okay, D-Bad did find... Oh, I never unlimbered that fella. Unlimber, shoot something. Low ammo here. That's just Confederate pickets, though. Happens all the time. Good. Good. Just pull those pickets in. Okay, going back out. Maybe. There they go. Doing okay, doing okay. Okay, we're about to get... Okay, so their attack is coming in earnest now. And it's coming from this direction. Hold them at the... Scrims will hold out as long as they hold out. Not very long. Well, this artillery over here is shooting okay after all. Move those skirms back just a little bit to clear line of sight for this battalion. Nope. Still nervous, but at least he's got this cav bonus now. Cav proximity bonus. Alright, are these guys still considered in loose order? They are. Okay. Go ahead and get this cavalry across these creeks. Come up in the rebel rear. I think these skirmishers are... Yeah. Okay. Let's get this artillery out of here. Just back it up a little bit. $900 to $500. Some of that, of course, was overnight attrition on both sides. Kind of milling about here. Man, I wish I had... really only got one... battery that is really in a position to do bombarding there. Come on, already move back. You're taking losses. Forced. Let's move these skirms over and kind of screen them a little bit. If they'll go, they may not. Time is looking pretty right to kind of get these cav up in here. Weak wavering small brigade here, flanking this brigade, wavering artillery here. Let's see how they do. All these skirms are still here. Let's get Howard's brigade fully across the creek. About like that. Okay, these skirms have been driven back. That's fine. Oh, that D-bat got broken. Trying to move back out. That's what I get for putting them up forward like that, I guess. Okay. Cleburne's brigade looks pretty unsupported there. Let's come out of the breastworks. Let's prepare by bringing Gordon about like this. $1,200 to $700 casualties. They've still got a little bit higher morale than we do, primarily because we're fighting in Georgia. Okay. Rosecrans skirms driven in. It looks like Cleburne ought to be taking a flanked fire debuff from Morris's shooting there. Howard just now crossing the creek. See if we can put Rosecrans and keep Rosecrans in long range. Rotate his facing. Morris may be starting to take some flanking fire himself. Okay, 7th Cav firing on this artillery now, and on Dunavant. Tennessee militia wants no part of that. They're headed the other direction. Okay. Change facing. Let's get everybody firing on Dunavant now. Looks like a good time for Gordon to advance up over this way. And I'm going to run him up there. I don't want him to stop. Get up there fast. What? Rosecrans, what are you doing, bro? Dunavant has sent a detachment to grab these abandoned guns. Let's move the cav up just a little bit. They're firing, but they're just barely catching the end of the flank there. Howard, get turned around. Golly. Howard. Move Cox up a little bit closer. Oh, yeah. Okay, they're retreating now. Alright, let's mount this cavalry. Get them up here. Start bringing this other cavalry down. I want to get the cav up here first. Okay, 3,300 to about 1,450. Okay. Got Prentice chasing around the Tennessee militia. Broken. I didn't give those guys advance orders, I guess. Well, I did. He's above 30% casualties now. Oh. Did I just lose an entire brigade? Stone descent. Oh, goodness. There you go. I knew there was a reason I hardly ever use melee. I just lost an entire brigade. Yeah. Well, that popped my darn casualty percentage almost up to close to his. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm kind of at a point where I may not be able to afford. I'm still below 17%. That was gratuitous, though. That was completely unnecessary and a little bit nonsensical. I told you to come up here now. Pretty disappointed with losing that brigade. Primarily because I don't really understand why that happened. Had not been engaged very much. I didn't specifically look, but I think his morale was fine. And under this situation, during retreat mode, it seems like he should have had a path to retreat. I don't know. If anyone has any ideas on what game mechanics may have interplayed there to make that happen. Ooh, 52% casualties for Polk. And our casualties should be 2,000 instead of 4,000, but it is what it is. There's really only this one brigade wavering worth shooting at, and I think he's breaking right there. And that's kind of it. I mean, once they fully break, as I've mentioned multiple times in various campaigns, once they go full red, your guys just don't really shoot at them anymore. That's why I've left this cavalry sitting back here not doing anything, because I mean, I could order them and he'll make the movement, and he may go up there and deliver a volley, but not he won't keep firing. No, anyway. Okay, 8,000 out of 14,000. Losses for Polk. Lost all of his guns. I guess he didn't have any cav. We lost a few guns there. Right, we had that one battalion that routed that was kind of exposed on the left. A wrecked brigade. See how 7th Cav did with those carbines in that position. $1,700 casualties delivered, including taking some prisoners, about 1,300 infantry and several battalions worth of artillery casualties. I think 7th Cavalry they had 3 battalions, and 7th Cav just wrecked all 3 of them there toward the end. Nice job. The other Cav didn't do much. 3rd Division, those were the fellows over on the right, I think. Howard and Duval. Yeah. About even. 1,400, 1,300. Second Division was in the middle. They got in the action a little bit late. All right then. Well, a successful battle pretty much went the way that we predicted and intended, except for that one weird brigade disintegration. I don't get that part. That was in 1st Division. Yeah, only 3rd Brigade dissolved. They're not even in here anymore. So I wonder if that 23 plus 50, it's not even counting whatever casualties Stone's Brigade did before disintegrating. It doesn't even count those. Nah. Right, so Polk's little army, which is something like 6,000 to 7,000 men now, will be retreating after this battle. They'll be looking for a rebel IIP to go to, and wherever that point is, it's not going to be between McClellan and Atlanta. So there we go. Big push into Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Colonel Goodrich, defamed. Alphaeus Williams, famous. That makes sense. He was the Cav commander at division level above 7th Cav. And Goodrich must have been that battalion commander that broke. Not entirely his fault. Fulkerson, that was the rebel Tennessee militia commander. Yeah, I can see that. Those guys were booking it for the hills long before the rest of the army went into retreat mode. Okay, are we still in the rear guard thing? Yeah. I'm not going to be able to... Well, maybe I can. Can I give... Well, 4th Corps is still actually back here in yellow readiness. I don't think he can use any of this stuff, but I'll turn it all on for him anyhow. Get on up here, Heinzelman. Okay, where is Polk retreating? Madison seems a likely spot. Griffin. That's not an I. Yeah, that's not an IIP. It'll either be Madison or Griffin behind Atlanta. Well, there is a supply depot. I don't think cities themselves count as retreating points, but I think supply depots rather, do. So Polk is probably just going right here. That's okay. We'll come down and fight him again. He's down to 6,500-ish is the intel estimate. Before cutting out, how is our... Okay. So this core is still not actually seaborne yet. But he's... okay. And then they'll be heading down. The Corps commander's already down here. Just the Corps is not. Okay. Or not Corps commander, Army commander. I think that will do for this episode. And we'll have to wait to actually take Atlanta until the next episode. And then maybe we'll get something kicking up here in Virginia. And maybe Grant will have his supply issues taken care of and he can move down further into Alabama. Until then, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.